make sure you note the shedding cycle on the larger specimens.
Already done. I updated the file this morning.
Check the thermal gradient here. It seems slightly low near the basking zone.
Yes, but the skin temperature reading on this one is optimal.
In the middle of the cool green snake garden, where the morning light just penetrates through the shade nets, the journey of the luxurious skins begins here, from living creatures. Every inspection, the technical team in white blouses, blue gloves and goggles enter the breeding area with a strict process, checking the temperature, humidity, cage hygiene and health status of each individual snake. Each cage is carefully opened, The snakes slither gently on the sand and stone floor. The
Scales
golden
look
brown
excellent,
scales
very
with dark diamond patterns with black
conditioning is
borders
perfect.
shine under the gentle sunlight. Not only recording dry data, they observe how the snakes move, how they react to the environment, the condition of their skin during the shedding stage. Every smallest sign is recorded. Every water bowl, every shelter, every tree trunk. In the cage is checked to ensure the living environment is always clean, safe and meets animal welfare standards. From above, the snake garden looks like a tightly organized network: walkways, breeding areas, observation areas, all operating in order. Behind the cold exterior of the leather industry is a clear system of management, supervision, licensing and traceability. Before becoming raw material for the top jackets, these snakes are all raised, monitored and cared for in a strictly controlled cycle. That is where the story of the python leather jacket begins, not in the sewing factory or showroom, but in the snake garden, where every breath, every layer of scales, every number on the statistical table contributes to the true value behind a luxury product. When the inspection in the snake garden is finished, all data on the health, origin and condition of each individual is saved in the system. Only individuals that meet the standards of size, age, skin condition and are raised according to regulations are brought into the next process. Each code, each record is a fingerprint that guarantees the transparency and legality of the production chain behind a python skin. From the breeding area, the story gradually shifts to a modern industrial space. Specialized containers, cooling systems, and discrete means of transport are used to bring raw materials to the initial processing area. No longer a cool green garden scene. Now it is steel, stainless steel, cold white lights and the steady sound of machinery. Here, raw skins are received under strict supervision. Each batch
The golden brown is consistent across all panels.
And the dark diamond pattern is sharp. It passes calibration.
documents, traceability codes and is classified by size, pattern and quality, on large stainless steel tables. The skins, after being separated from the body, are spread flat, cleaned and then salted for preservation. Each layer of salt covers the surface of the skin, absorbing moisture and preventing natural decomposition. From above, it is a field of golden brown python skin with dark diamond patterns, lying silently waiting for their turn to enter the sophisticated chemical cycle of the tanning industry. Amidst the sound of pumps, fans and the steady rhythm of the
Does this
production
alignment
line.
work for the
The
diamond
technical
pattern?
team
Yes,
remains
that's
as
perfect.
calm and precise as when they are outside
Secure
the
the
snake
weights.
garden. The change is only the context, from controlled nature to a modern industrial environment, but the core principle remains the same: every step must be
This piece fits right here.
Yes, the alignment is perfect now.
Yeah.
We can start stitching the torso.
monitored, recorded and performed according to standards, so that from here, the raw skin will enter a transformation journey, becoming a luxury material carrying within it a story of origin, technique and strict control at every step. After the salt preservation stage, the python skins leave the stainless steel table to enter a completely different environment, the humidification and tanning area. Here, they are soaked in giant tanks of solution. Salt, dirt and remaining impurities are gradually washed away, restoring the skin to the necessary softness and moisture before contact with tanning chemicals. Each batch of skin is numbered, controlled by an electronic board with strictly controlled time, temperature and concentration. Everything looks repetitive. But if there is just a slight deviation, the finished product will lose its inherent durability and beauty. When the skin has reached the ready state, it is passed through the meat and fat separator. The rollers rotate evenly. The blades and rolling surface work continuously to completely remove all unnecessary things, leaving only the skin with intact collagen fiber structure. This is a less flashy but extremely important step, because it determines the ability to absorb the tanning agent and the uniformity of the skin later. From here, python skin is no longer just a waste after the livestock industry, but has gradually become a truly valuable material. Next, the giant tanning vats begin to rotate. Inside is a mixture of tanning solutions, calibrated specifically for each type of leather and each desired surface effect by the designer. Python skin is put in. The lid is closed, and then rotate. It slowly for hours. During that time, the protein structure in the skin is stabilized, preventing decomposition, increasing its flexibility and longevity. From an easily damaged organic material, leather has now become a material that can last for many years, even decades if used and preserved properly. When the skins are taken out of the vats, they have a different appearance, clearer color, cleaner surface, and flexibility that can be felt with just a touch. But the journey is not over yet. The skins are hung up, dried in a room with controlled temperature and humidity, then softened, rolled, rubbed, and pressed. This is where technique and aesthetic sense meet. The craftsman must rely on both machines and experience to decide the level of tension, softness, and gloss of each piece of skin. The goal is to preserve the natural beauty of the scales, while creating a surface luxurious enough for high fashion. Finally, when the criteria for color, softness, thickness, and pattern are met, the python skin is transferred to the cutting and sewing area. Here, the craftsman carefully places the pattern on each piece of skin, calculating each cut so that the diamond pattern runs in the right position on the body of the shirt, sleeves, and collar. Each piece of skin is cut out, assembled, sewn into the shirt form, attached with zippers, lined, and pressed into shape. From the snake garden, through the solution tanks, machines and industrial lines, every step gradually converges in a moment, when the completed python skin coat is hung on a rack. The light shines on the shimmering surface of the scales, and the story of the entire complex, meticulous process behind it is finally revealed to the viewer. When the finished python jacket was hung in the middle of the workshop, the atmosphere around it seemed to slow down. The seams were sealed, the lining was in place, and every metal detail was in place. But what made it different was not just the technique, but the way the entire natural pattern on the leather surface was deliberately arranged, a diamond-shaped strip of pattern running along the body of the jacket, hugging the chest and shoulders, creating a feeling that was both wild and refined. Under the neutral white light of the workshop, the jacket still exuded its own color depth, enough for the craftsman to know at a glance, this was a batch of rarely beautiful leather. From the workshop, the jacket was taken to the trial display space, where the light
The tensile strength is remarkable for this gauge.
And the color saturation is flawless.
background color and setting were calculated to honor the material. On a simple display stand, the python jacket stood alone, surrounded by workers and technicians still in white blouses, blue gloves, and goggles. They were no longer busy with machines or control panels, but just quietly stood there looking at their own achievements. It was not a look of boasting, but a feeling of satisfaction knowing that each number, each measurement, each precise operation throughout the cycle had led to a worthy product. Under the focused light, the surface of the brown gold scales with black edges suddenly looked like molten metal frozen in the shape of a coat. If viewers did not know the whole story behind it, they might only see this as a luxury item. But to those standing around, they saw the whole snake garden. The periodic inspection.
The scales are remarkable.
Yes, truly unique texture.
The giant soaking tanks. The smell of tanning chemicals. The sound of machines. The sound of sewing needles and countless inspection reports. A coat, but a crystallization of agriculture. Material science. Industrial engineering and fashion art.